Good afternoon. The bar is relatively high, I have to say. I want to congratulate the Open-Xchange team on the choice of speakers this morning. I guess, I hope it was as inspirational for you guys as it was for me, bordering on the problems of modern democracy, on politics. Very inspirational indeed. I think what I will try to do over the next 10 minutes or so is to be a little bit more down to the ground and concrete on what we together can do to move the world in the direction we want it to go, essentially. So we were sort of negative on the role of very large corporations like Google or Facebook in how internet is developing and what's the direction. And when you think about that, on the other side, there is literally thousands of smart people and smart companies who can actually put a good stand against what's going on the other side. But, you know, I worked for Dell for a number of years, and I remember Michael Dell always used to say, at the end, the cost leader wins. And taking the cost out of the system is something we need to think about when we build an offering which should compete with these monster proposals from Google or Facebook or Apple or even Microsoft. So when you think about parallels, our purpose in life, our mission for the last 12 years or so, was really to create a platform which would allow members of the industry to simplify the way they collaborate. So the idea would be to make sure that if a service provider like KPN or a very well-managed hosting company like HomePL, which we have in the room here, would have an idea to collaborate with Open-Xchange, that this would be simple and quick, okay? We all know, and especially, well, I have to also admit that I spent a number of years as a general manager of a country organization for Microsoft in one of the European countries, and I learned hard way how difficult it is to implement a cloud service into an existing service provider organization. How difficult it is to basically integrate that with the OSS, BSS systems, and especially if people are unsure about the success of the project, these costs may actually be prohibitive to even try. We wanted to take that out. So what you look at when you think of parallels is a company which created a platform which on one hand offers a standard called, which is our standard, it's called Application Packaging Standard, which offers you a simplified interface to put your services on the platform. And on the other hand, you have a similar interface to integrate with BSS OSS systems of service providers. The platform has been successful. So currently, you can look at the slide, around 50% of the top service providers are using it. And we currently have around 400 partners on the other side of the equation. Notably Open-Xchange, of course, but you also see other partners like Acronis, Box, Broadsoft, Symantec, Microsoft as well, I should say. So this is where we are, and that's the key objective. We also recognized that despite the platform simplifying many things, we still need a great deal of integration often. That's how we took on board IBM, Cisco, and HP. Well, Cisco to the extent that they became a strategic investor in Parallels. And that's what Parallels is today. Now, coming back to the topic we discussed today, basically the hosted mail, the hosted PBX, collaboration and communication. As our contribution to the industry, we try to research the SMB market. We are big believers that the real opportunity for the cloud business is in SMB, worldwide. Regardless of the country, this is going to be the largest opportunity. And that's where we research. When you look at the hosted mail and hosted voice market, North America is leading. That makes it, in terms of market share last year, that makes it a very good area to research what the trends are, because typically the SMBs tend to be with such services a bit longer than in Europe. So that's why we look at this. We even try to make a prediction that by 2016, actually Europe will be catching up. So if you operate in Europe, these are very good news. We will have good growth here in terms of hosted mail. Well, as Niels Bohr, the physicist, said, making predictions is difficult, especially predictions about the future. And we try a prediction here. So in fact, it's not a prediction. The nature of our research is asking straight questions to SMBs. Do you plan to invest in this type of solution? So it's not our prediction, it's their statement. But there is few things which I would like to share with you on top of the growth component. What are the criteria for especially the European SMBs as they go forward with the CNC solutions? As we could pick up in the presentations this morning, security really becomes the top issue. It really does. So all the work done by industry players and obviously the media is showing effect. So people are really bringing that up as the main reason why they would switch from free solution to a paid business class solution, let's call it this way. Interestingly, only 20% quote the price. So in terms of marketing response to this type of demand, I think you need to give a proper thought to your security offering, which is bundled with the hosted mail. That is something which is becoming essential. There is one aspect on top of this which one should remember is that the number of services these companies buy is growing. So there's a prediction again that they will reach in average 11 services from the cloud bought by SMB. That's a high number. That becomes a burden for the owner of the company, because he's dealing with a number of suppliers. Often these subscriptions are overlapping. He doesn't have a transparency over the cost anymore. So a little bit of the beauty of the cloud is going away because we reintroduce the complexity to them. And this is where I think the ecosystem of the service providers and combining the services, creating the right bundles is coming in. And we really believe that putting security together with CNC is going to be the winning combination as we go forward. And that's where our platform will give you a vast choice of solutions. Obviously, being at the Open-Xchange conference, I chose Open-Xchange as the solution of choice for the anchor service of premium email, and then also for the value-add services. But remembering that we live in times of an ecosystem, you can see that if you run our platform, you can add a number of other services where the APS packages have been developed. So that's essentially the key value of what we do. We try to make this system work better and better and better. The volumes become very interesting, very, very interesting. So we now automate millions of seats. And the new standard of APS2 is going to give a new wave to the quality of integration with Open-Xchange in particular. So I would like you to have a look at that. So to summarize, not to bore you too much, we believe that after all these years, we understood what's important. We try to focus on R&D. You may sometimes blame us of not being that visible on the marketing side and not doing things we maybe should be doing to promote ourselves a bit better. But out of the 1,000 people we employ worldwide, almost 80% are in R&D, and that's what we try to focus on. So what you should expect from us is better and better and better products and better offering on both sides of the equation. Signing new service providers, the great wins of last year were Telefonica globally, developing our relationship with SFR, which is also doing fine with the Open-Xchange proposition. I don't think I can talk about these recent wins because it's.
This is true.
But there's going to be some very breakthrough news for our collaboration coming from some places. So that's what we are going to do, and we will continue investing on the APS side. And essentially, that's it. I want to thank you for your attention. We have a small booth there. There's a lot of people actually at this booth in red shirts, which is a corporate color, so you recognize them easily. They will answer your questions. And tomorrow at 11:30, we will also host a workshop, a panel session.
Correct.
So join us there. Any questions, maybe?
I've got a question. So we've heard a lot today about security at the conference. We had two really compelling presentations from Raphael and from Errol. So we're all a little hot under the collar. You bring that up from a services and a solution bundling perspective, trusted services. What, on average, what kind of margin increase could a service provider expect from going with security as the main go-to-market proposition? What is in your SMB Insight research are you finding?
Well, you catch me here. I don't want to say something which opposes our research.
Of course not.
James, would you remember the numbers which we quote in the research? Do we have James in the room?
I don't see James. Well, let's put it a different way.
Well, I think the point is that what you saw on the price sensitivity of these bundles, we believe that the price sensitivity is less than intuitively assumed. Mm-hmm. That you know, when people see something which is compelling, and in particular in the area of security, we actually can achieve much better margins. It's very difficult to make money today with mail, right? I mean, that's so we are talking. We are talking about increasing from zero to something. I would say that's what we talk about. And I don't want to be naive. This is not an easy business. But I think when you take out the cost by using smart integration techniques like our platform, then if Michael Dell was right, the cost leader will win. Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions for Jacek? No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.